Hello everyone and welcome to Zach's Garage. You joined me at a very early start in a pretty fresh summer's day. We're heading up to Brands Hatch for the Supercar Seige and we're going into pretty outrageous cars. We've got Tommy in the 1-to-1 KOENIGSEGG, we've got my mum in the Agera, and we've got our friends in our Focus RS, so it should make for some pretty crazy footage. We're heading to a petrol station now where we're going to meet 40 or other so cars, so let's see what it's like and I'll see you there. Okay, so we just got here. I came up in the 1-to-1 and Mum drove up in the Agera R. We joined up a few friends. We've got the P1 here and we've got a TDF just here as well. And then down there we've got Neil's RS and a few pretty insane cars, so I'll show you around and we'll go into some detailed looks. Okay, so if we start here, we've got the F40, really iconic car, more of a classic compared to the other cars that are here. Then we have the F12 TDF, which we've seen here before, finished in triple yellow layer paint. We actually met this car up when we went to the services, as you saw earlier. The actual paintwork on the car is just unbelievable, and the small details that make such a difference. I mean, really, amazing car. And then if we move across here, we've got the P1. This is actually quite an iconic car because of the other cars it came with. So they had a LT, they had the P1, and I believe there was an F1, but all in the same spec. So unfortunately the group got separated of the three of them, but this now belongs to a man who's got a fairly substantial collection of cars. The small details along here, so the car is actually blue, but as you can see here, you have a white line, and this is actually painted. It's not a sticker, it's not a detail. Then you have P1 MSO down here, just to symbolise the importance of the car. And you also have quite a special badge down here, which you can see Bruce McLaren. Now this was, it wasn't an option, but McLaren supplied it as it's an MSO special car. We can take a little look inside here. Everything in here is blue. We'll have a bit of a better look at some point. We'll open the doors up and have a little look round. Then obviously we've got our KOENIGSEGG here, finished in white with the V8, brilliant car. The 1-to-1, which I came up with, obviously basically this, but on an extreme level. Obviously the more track focused car with the more aerodynamics of it. And then next to it we have the fairly new and incredibly beautiful RSN. This one was seen at VMAX recently, doing 242 miles an hour. The details all over this car are just unbelievable, whether it's the fact that the paint has diamonds in, or the carbon fibre work everywhere. But something that is quite special is the KOENIGSEGG symbol that's actually inside the carbon, and the fact that the rear wing here isn't actually vinyled, it's just polished. So the texture, which obviously you can't see here, but the texture of it, you can feel the weave of the carbon, so really special. This edition actually has the 1 megawatt of power, which you can see through there, with the KOENIGSEGG triplex suspension. And RSN, RS, obviously because it's an Agera RS, and N for the owner. As you can see inside, the dashboard also has RSN in there as well. Hopefully we'll get a chance to have a look at this in a little bit better detail. And then you have the Pagani Huayra. This one's been seen quite a lot, obviously on Yanamais. It's got the stripe, I believe it's owned by the people with Marbach clothing. Really awesome car. There's some really small details on it that make a big difference. You can see the small little red lines down here. Really quite beautiful car. And you can see all the mechanics workings of the gearbox, which is something that Pagani focused on to give it a more driver intuitive feeling, and it really does. I mean, look at that for a gear linkage. We've got the Aventador SV also, with the Marbach clothing, seen on the Yanamais channel. Had just been rewrapped. I believe this is the first event it's been to. I think the only way to appreciate the paint is to actually see it in it by itself. Really pretty. And then through here we've got a Porsche by ES Motors, going to have some crazy brake horsepower in there. Another 911 and a GT2 RS. Are you ready, Tommy? No. Okay, good. That's all I want to hear. So this section of the show, we've got some Astons. So we've got a really classic Aston, lots of Vantages, Vantage there, and we've got a Vantage Volante. We also have another Vantage here, another Vantage. So here we have the P1. Now obviously P1s, when you see hypercars, they're not the rarest of cars, but this one is a very, very rare car. So done by MSO, there was 3 cars. There was this, there was an LT, and I believe an F1. So the F1 was made in the same colour as this, and then they made an LT in the same colour as this, and a P1 in the same colour as this. The spec on all 3 of them are exactly the same. So it's actually a very deep blue with a white painted line with blue details on. Makes for something very different. It looks very black in photos. It's probably not coming through, but this is actually a very deep blue colour. Now the P1's obviously a hybrid with the petrol motor producing 727 brake horsepower and the electric motor producing 177 brake. It all adds up to be quite a handful, really. With the twin turbos, the turbos are so large on this. I mean, the build-up of them is you can hear it, but then suddenly it all kicks in and becomes quite an extreme car. I mean, an event to drive, very much similar, use the same wording as the F40. Everything about this is quite special, including the interior. So if we have a little look in, so if you have a look through there, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's just a few little buttons here. Press that button, the door will open. So you have the butterfly doors, which open upwards. And you can see the really large air gap just there, which feeds into the engine. So if we step in, you're instantly greeted by quite a tight cockpit. You can see the blue interior, so you've got blue leather and Alcantara. So the outside of the seats is blue leather, and the inside is Alcantara with a light blue mats as well. You have a blue leather steering wheel, but also, as I keep saying, it's a deep blue, so it's not really in your face. You have the racing bucket seats, are incredibly tight but very supportive, and the big LCD screen in the middle with the steering wheel with the DRS buttons and the iPass. We step out again, so you can see here the window adjustments here and just there. If we shut the door, and the car is currently sitting in race mode, that's with the wing up. The suspension has been lowered. The car actually sits quite high up when it's in normal mode, if there's such thing in a P1, which means that you are able to use it, you know, you don't hit road bumps all the time. So yeah. Okay, so the event is coming to a close. I'm going back in the 1-to-1. Mum's going back in the Agera R. Just want to say a massive thank you to Supercar Seige and Brands Hatch for hosting an incredible event, and we'll see you guys when we get home. Cheers. Okay, so we just got back from Brands Hatch. I came back in the 1-to-1, the Agera R just came back as well. We got them lined up a little bit cheekily, deliberately for the exit of the video. Just want to say a massive thank you to the Supercar Seige and Brands Hatch for hosting an event. Obviously the whole thing was involved for Bears, which is a military charity, so make sure you go check them out. Thank you for Super Ventura for bringing the 1-to-1 along. And yes, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content and a lot of Koenigsegg involved stuff, it looks like it's going to be. So thank you guys once again for watching, and I'll see you soon. Cheers!